platform to go live. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Yes. Okay. We are live. Good. Everywhere on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Instagram. If I'm going to see your comments here. Okay. Good. 5 fears that poison your life. And I think that we all have fears, and we know that we will have them all the time to protect our life, and we need them for protection. However, there are fears that we create in our mind based on past experiences, traumatic experience. I hope you can hear me very well. That do not serve us and actually poison our life. And I will include these fears as a bonus to the course Mind Guide. So if you want to learn more and all the ways how you can overcome this fear, realize it. Remember, we are driven by something that we don't realize, something that is unconscious. That's why we're so frustrated at ourselves, because we don't know why we are still behaving in the way that we don't like, why we know that we shouldn't be bothering about other people's opinions, but we still kind of, don't even start what we love because of that fear. I've chosen these 5 ones because they are the ones that create a lot of resonance with people. Like whenever I talk about these fears, right away people ask, like, yes, this is what I have. Yes, this is what I want to, release or understand, or I want to get to the root cause of it because this is so freaking frustrating. And these fears usually are fear of people's opinions. What will people say? Let's start with what happens, how this fear poisons our life. You see, when we are worried about what other people say, we start to change ourselves. What changes? Our voice, our language, our opinions, right? Because we believe, okay, they might trigger someone, so I'm not going to express them. I'm not going to express what I truly believe in because, no, because someone will reject me or someone will criticize or judge me. We change our behaviors. We technically change who we are in order to be convenient to someone. And maybe if we are convenient, maybe they will love us. They will not hate us. They will not criticize us. We change our tonality. We change our intonation. Please write down if anyone notices how they change their voice and the way they talk, the language that you use when you are with someone that you are, for example, very self-conscious about. Maybe you are with with someone of authority, or when you do the live, for example, or you post something. Who had this instance when you want to post a story, so you want to post maybe some article or post on the Instagram, whatever, social media, or maybe just text a message, and then you erase it and text it again, erase it and text it, erase it so many times. So maybe the meaning already is lost because you are overthinking. Oh, maybe I could smooth some words here. I could smooth some words here. We're going to overthink. That's what happens. Fear of other people's opinions. What happens? Okay, so you change your voice, you change the way you behave, or sometimes you don't even do what you want to do. And in that, we avoid life. Unfortunately, when we are afraid of people's opinions, of what will people say, we avoid life. Why? Because life is an experience with all types of experiences, and rejection as well, and sadness, and grief. and failure. All of these experiences are part of fulfilling, rich, engaged life. But because you're afraid of people's opinions, you avoid this life. And so, what we tell sometimes to our therapist or to our friends that we want to share our problems to, that I don't feel like a human being anymore. I feel like I'm a shell of a person. That's what happens. I feel like I'm a shell of a person because I don't live life deeply, deeply, right how I want it. How you can deal with this pain, with this fear. Usually I would recommend, and that's what I did, is to allow others to have all kinds of experiences about you. They probably will take a couple of minutes for you. No one has the time for you. Trust me, people don't have time for us. We believe that we are so important. And this is what happens. If you look at it, at this fear from another perspective, when we are afraid of people's opinions, we have this belief that that we are very important to them. We are so important that they will find the time to criticize us and find the time to judge us. Who finds the time to judge us and who finds the time to criticize are only haters. People who are so hateful towards the world that they specifically take the social media, if you are on social media, right? And they type hateful comments. That's it. Everyone else are doing their life, their own life, having their own fears. But you have this understand, I'm important. I am important to them. Who told you that? Release that. Release that belief and thought that you are so important to someone that someone will, find the time to judge you or to criticize you. And then be engaged in your own life. Another thing, how you can look at this fear from another point of view, is when we are afraid of other people's opinions, we have opinions about people as well. If you are afraid of someone not something telling you something, we are doing the same very often. It doesn't have to be loud, right? Expressive. It could be just in your mind. We get what we give. We get what we give. So allow others to have opinions about it. Allow them to be themselves. Hateful, judgmental, critical. Allow them. Then you can be yourself finally. And subconscious mind really will trap you in that fear because it will give you more and more experiences that will show you, please work on this fear. Please find the root cause of it, until we isolate ourselves completely. Until I had clients who could not even come out of their house, of their home, because they are so afraid. They have social phobia, right? People being in social settings, even going to the grocery store, because what will people say? They will see, and I will get embarrassed. And if I get embarrassed, it's going to feel just like when I was at school. And the teacher brought me to the school, to the board, and I had to answer some questions, and everyone laughed at me, just as that instance. Whatever it is, it's your story. You probably have the trigger of your own. But subconscious mind will bring you back until you isolate yourself. And it's very, very painful. And then when it's very, very painful, you'll choose to climb out of that fear. But you don't need to go that far into the pain, really, if you can work on it even now. Second fear. The second fear is the fear of not being liked. Not being liked. And here is very important to give you an example. I had a consultation with a client, she on Zoom, and then she tells me, Kate, I have depression. I'm trapped. I'm stuck in this darkness. I feel this darkness right inside of me. And what bothers me the most is that people don't like me. People tell me I'm complaining a lot. People tell me I'm negative. I'm just so tired that people don't like me. And here, the question comes to me. Usually, I listen to the universe and listen to what will it tell me to ask at that moment. And I ask, tell me a little bit about your family. Do you have siblings? And here's what she says. Oh, yeah, I have a couple of sisters, but I don't like them. I don't like them. No, they're so, so abusive or whatever. Did you catch it? I'm so tired of people not liking me. But when I ask her about her siblings, I don't like them. Isn't that the mirror? Isn't that the mirror? We get what we give. The same here as well. I'm afraid of not being liked because there are people in this world that I don't like as well, including me, including myself. I don't like myself, so I don't like people. But I'm very frustrated why they don't like me. It could be very unconscious. For example, we might not like a specific nation, or we might not like a specific type of people, or a quality about people that we don't like. Yes, that could happen. If you have that, think about those people that frustrate you, people that you don't like, people that you stay away from, for example. If you don't like someone, there will be people who don't like you as well. This is very common. A little mirror in our world. So this, when I pointed out, here's the thing. When I pointed that out to her, she got so mad. She's like, so really, it's all about me. It's coming from you, right? It's coming from you. Yes, maybe it didn't start from you. Yes, it started somewhere in childhood, and that's for you to work with your therapist, to work on those moments and to unlock them, unscrew them, and understand. But right now, as an adult, you have a fear of not being liked, and it's a choice because you choose not to like someone. And when we don't like someone, for example, we don't like anger in someone, or we don't like narcissism in someone, we are capable of very similar things under similar circumstances. We are capable of destruction and creation. By the way, if someone, for example, is expressing hate towards you, maybe on social media, in comments, or they're texting you, your relatives ones, usually what I do is I get very great. I'm very grateful for that. Here is why. When someone hates or texts me like the hateful comment, what I do is I say they expressed that life force of violence, hatred, anger, frustration into that blog, for example, onto my blog, which means they didn't express it to someone else. They didn't express it towards someone else. Maybe their child, maybe their partner, maybe that guy who texted me, Luke, you're such a stupid bitch, whatever, right? Just commented me. I was like, maybe he has kids. And maybe he expressed that anger and it will be less anger for someone. So I'm okay. Bring it on. Bring it on. So how can you, right? How can you overcome the fear of not being liked? It's about learning people's behaviors. Take the book. I don't know, Dale Carnegie, right? Or I don't know, anything that will show you human nature, that human nature is capable of anything. And so you start to forgive yourself first for your past experiences, decisions, maybe some mistakes that you think you have made. You start to forgive yourself. You start to like yourself more, accept yourself more. You start to accept other people. And you release that fear because you understand that others, are whatever they are doing, it's in my nature as well. I don't have that experience. And my story is different. But at the same time, it will help you understand human nature. So, fear of not being liked. Third fear Fear of being stuck forever. So there comes a moment in our life when we feel stuck. We don't like our job anymore. We are stuck in a relationship, but we still cannot get out of them or work on them. We feel this feeling of stuckness. And here where our child's position comes in. We start to believe that it's going to be like that forever. Forever. That's it. I'm going to be stuck forever. This is a very similar situation of stuckness that you felt before when you were a child. There were a moment when you also felt that feeling of stuck. And because the child doesn't have that logic of time, they realize that it's never going to end. It's just never going to end. As I'm, for example, controlling parents or abuse or whatever, narcissistic abuse, criticism. It's never going to end. Bullying at school, by the way. When kids are bullied in school, they believe it's going to be like that forever. They can't wait for the school to end. They have anticipation anxiety. They're really anxious. Of course, because all they want is for it to end. And then there comes a time in our life that actually is given us for a reason. I'm going to talk about the reasons where we feel stuck in whatever we are doing, job, career, personal life, health. And we believe the same belief as we believed in childhood. It's never going to end. But it's not true because there is nothing that is forever, right? There's nothing in your human life that is forever. Everything is for rent, right? In this life. What do you do? When we feel stuck? I have some problems with the Instagram live. I hope it's going to come back. I hope it's going to come back to the normal, as always, right? Okay, so let's see. Let's try again. Maybe it's going to go. Let's talk about how can you, right? What is that feeling of stuckness? What does it tell you? It tells you that you cannot live further, go on with your life if with the programs, with the old programs. So feeling of stuck is a lesson. It's like your life is a therapy. Your life is giving you the understanding, hey, you cannot live like that anymore. You can't run on these old programs. It's going to be painful in the future. Stop, pause, reflect, and do some changes. Usually it's about changing your beliefs, about the world, about yourself, about your health, reevaluate. But no, we see stuck as like the worst, as like something that is the worst. I'm going to end this thing. And I'm going to go and go live again. Okay. We're going to go live again. Hello. I'm so sorry that this will not be. And again, pause your two. Okay, good. So, what is this feeling of stuck is telling you? Tell me a little bit. What is this feeling of being stuck is telling you? Is it telling you to maybe reevaluate your values? Maybe your value was control. You needed to control everything. And now things are starting to fall out of control, right? What is it telling you? There's something that problem is telling you about. If you have, for example, health issues, and you feel stuck, you have to take a medical leave, or you really never had a panic attacks, but you start to have them. There is a reason. There is a reason. And we believe that I'm going to be stuck forever. No, until you figure it out. If not, your body has a program for well-being, so it's going to go back to the well-being, but it also going to give you more lessons and more painful lessons. That's going to happen. So nothing is stuck. Remember, in this world, nothing is stuck. Everything is moving. It's moving. We're not stuck. So this word, right? And I'm teaching that in my course. what words to use and what words not to use. If you want the free lesson, you can DM me the word watermelon, and you're gonna get it in both languages, by the way. But please, you don't use that word. Stuck is trapped. Trapped is out of control. Out of control is helpless. Feeling helpless and feeling powerless. Feeling powerless, the mind gets anxious because the mind starts to get out of it. That's it. But you don't realize the only thing you see is the problems in life that you have right now. But actually, it's a very similar feeling that you already had. Or maybe you formed some belief that is now doesn't work for you anymore. Perfectionism, whatever it is. Playing the rebel, the resentment, whatever it is that needs to be worked on. Otherwise, yes, you will go back. So when we feel stuck in life, it's the chance to change your life, the trajectory of your life. But not everyone is choosing that. Some people choosing to go on with their life. Okay, I'm just going to rest a little bit. I'm going to go back to my life because I can't change anything. So what happens then is life starts to show you other symptoms, right? So if you don't understand this, if you cannot really read into this moment, I'll give you some, maybe more physical symptoms, maybe a little bit more. Maybe now you'll see. Life loves you, really loves you, and wants to support you 100%. But you need to make actions. You need to take actions. So instead of having a fear of being stuck forever, right? Have a fear of continuing your life as it was. Maybe it's time. It's for a reason. Have a fear of continuing your life as it is. That would happen to me in 2020. Having beautiful home, incredible kids, a healthy life, I fell down so far. Because the life loves me and wanted to tell me, hey, you can't go on like that. So I started to have a fear. I didn't want to, once I started to learn about myself, do the hypnotherapy. I did it. It was one of my favorite modalities. I love everything I tried, by the way. I learned something. But this one I really love, RTT hypnotherapy. I love it the most. I practice it. I tried to practice different methods and went back to RTT hypnotherapy again. When I started to have a fear that I don't want the way I did. And that helped me to propel me further into my life. Fear number 4, fear of failure. Fear of failure, right? The same as the fear of people's opinions, how it poisons our life. When we have a fear of failure, we avoid life altogether. Because you avoid experiences that could be your biggest seeds for success. You avoid it. I avoid failure. I don't want to fail. I don't want to fail. I don't want to be rejected. I don't want to fail. I don't want to have this feeling that everything I did was for nothing. Nothing is for nothing. The universal law is nothing disappears into nothing. Oh, again, the Instagram, right? And nothing comes out of nothing, right? So it's always good, the energy always flowing. So for example, if I made a mistake here, maybe was driven by fear or didn't pay attention, whatever, and I have now a painful experience, I need it exactly this one. And when we avoid experiences, you avoid life. And then we have depression. If you avoid life for a very long time, it's a depression. First underlying depression, that like depressed mood. If we don't change it, it's going to be a little bit deeper. That darkness, right? Around that dark thoughts, a sense of life. We start to question what's the point, right? We start to question life. You need failure because failure is life. If you don't want failure, you don't want to live this life. You want to live illusion, a fantasy. You have an illusion in your mind that everything has to be like this, and you live the illusion. And that's also part of experience. Maybe you need a little bit of illusion because illusion is also a protective strategy, by the way, right? When we have this illusion of how things are supposed to be, we are going to be liked by everyone, we cannot fail, we cannot be rejected, we don't want to be abandoned, we don't want to be betrayed, right? We live in this illusion that there is a way like that. And then what happens is we completely avoid life and live in illusion because the reality is very painful. The reality is very painful. Illusion and fantasizing, dreaming that some things can be according to your expectations is also a protective strategy of psyche. Psyche was like, don't look at the reality. Don't. Let's dream. Let's expect. Who cares if we are anxious? But it's an illusion. It's a fantasy. So learn to digest failures, just like any other experience. Learn to experience pain in order to appreciate the pleasure. Because sometimes I have clients who come to me and like, you know what, I just like, have all of this and I go to vacations twice or three times a year and I have a loving husband, but life is just, boring. Right? There is no appreciation for life. No appreciation for life. Or like things are like good, but still something missing. And no appreciation for life. Your vision is blurred around what you have now here. Right? And people start to get bored and they start to feel and look for something better. When I have that, that's when I'm going to be happy. Well, you know that it doesn't really help. However, psyche has its own arrangements sometimes. And you need to talk to your psyche. You need to know how to train your mind, how to talk to your mind. What is anxiety? What is confidence? What is desire to control? What are the roles you're playing? How to break the old patterns? And the life becomes easier when you understand, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. When you find out what to do with your mind. Your mind is not you. So learn to digest failures, just like you digest any other experience, just like you digest happiness and you really love it and you want to be happy forever. Learn to digest failures so that you can appreciate happiness even more. And when you appreciate happiness, you get more of it. When you are grateful for good things that are coming, the food on the table, the ability to have a break in the morning with a coffee, the ability to wake up and still breathe. We forgot to be grateful for the simplest things. I know that because I have been struggling with that for so many years. So I know what it is and I know why I didn't appreciate all the goodness that was happening in my life. And there were so many good things that were happening. Until there was a threat of losing it. I guess we sometimes need a good pain, in order to learn. Sometimes we do need. So sometimes if you're in pain, maybe it's what needed. Soak it in. Go right through it. And the fear number 5 is fear of responsibility. Why I decided to separate this fear, put it in the last, right? Huge fear that keeps us in the role of a control freak or in the role of a victim, in the role of a child's position, in the role fear of responsibility. I don't want to be responsible for my actions. I don't want to I don't want to pay the price. What is responsibility? Responsibility is when I am ready. Also, ability to respond, right? We know that. The technical things, right? In reality, it's willingness to take the consequences of my actions, right? To accept them, to work with them, and to be ready for them. So as I make a decision, I create another problem, right? When we make decisions, we create more problems. So sometimes people ask me, so what? I don't make decisions? Yes, you can avoid decisions and they will be made for you. And you won't like them. So better make decisions and be in some sort of responsibility for your life. when you are willing to take the price of that responsibility. For example, right? I don't want to say no to this person. I don't want to speak up and stand up for myself because they will be mad at me, like they will criticize me, or they will, they will reject me. And if they reject me, I'll confirm that guilt. It must be me. There's something wrong with me. I'm lonely. I'm not needed. I'm not important. That's what happens. And when we do that, we don't want to. No. I don't want to pay that price. No. I better say yes, betray myself, but at least I'm not going to feel all of those emotions: guilt, shame, something is wrong with me, rejection, betray, whatever it is. No, I better say yes. We don't want to take the responsibility for our life. So we have fear of responsibility. It can come from many. Please watch my YouTube video about fear of responsibility. You can learn so much about it. So much. Sometimes we have a fear of responsibility and how it poisons our life with frustration. We believe that everyone is at fault, that I am so unhappy. Sometimes we start to direct it towards ourselves, right? We started, oh, it's me, it's all my fault, it's all about me, I'm the problem, right? And that guilt deepens. That's also not an option. It's about understanding that taking responsibility is having the freedom of choice. If I'm making this decision, there could be this consequence from this decision. Okay, yeah, I want to make that decision. So I'm ready to take that consequence. But at least I'm experiencing that. I'm not going to live years in regret for not making that decision, for not stepping up for myself, not standing up for myself, not speaking up for myself, not expressing myself, not doing what I love. Years of regret. Oh, I better take that responsibility. I'm going to lose my friends, whatever needs to be done. Hey, sweetie. I have my little son coming in saying that it's time to wrap it up, right? Responsibility is freedom. If you have a fear of responsibility, then it means that somewhere either you realize that I'm just too done with responsibility. I don't want to feel punished. Yeah, punishment is a huge root cause of fear of responsibility. Or there is a benefit. There is a benefit of staying in the victim's role, staying in that role of inaction, staying in that role of like, I better stay in the familiar. There is a benefit. Find that secondary benefit, and you'll be able to find something about yourself that you haven't known before. And that could be an insightful knowledge, which can change your life. Sometimes we have no willpower, so which means that we have no ability to tolerate pain. Helicopter parents that always did everything for us. It could be, people where our parents or caregivers were protecting us, right? Or a complete opposite, right? Complete neglect, right? And now I'm living in that regret, the resent and anger towards my parents, for example. That's all could keep us, right? We don't want to tolerate the pain. We don't want to tolerate either it was too much pain, or I don't even know how to tolerate pain. Yes. No willpower, right, to tolerate the pain. Then you need to train it. And training it, you can do it by training your mind. So if you are ready, please sign up for the course. You will love it. I'm going to close it on Monday, March 11th. It's a 7-day course, short mini program, but gives you the basics of how to master your mind and have a calmer life, more at ease. I have a little Wally here talking. So, love you all. Be healthy emotionally and physically. All of these fears it's possible to work through them. You will always remember that you had these fears, but you can also take the resource from it, take the energy from it, and learn from it and come out even stronger. Love you all. Be healthy emotionally and physically. Bye.
Okay, we gotta go.